got the latest product from Home Assistant as of this video filming anyway. They were kind enough to send me this Home Assistant Connect. It's the ZWA-2, and it's their new long-range Z-Wave controller. And the box is really nice. It's got a lot of neat stuff on it. Tells you how it's all built. You can see details of how this is all put together. Give you some other information about it. And really nice packaging. I like the packaging of it. So let's get it opened up and let's see what the device actually looks like. All right, let's dig inside the box and see what you get with that. So this is the base for it. You also have the antenna. Antenna is actually pretty long. It's hard to see that here, but this is a fairly large antenna for this. And of course, you've got a little bit of information about it, and you've got the, let's call it the power plug for it. And that's it. All goes together really nicely. So let's go ahead and take this and let's put it together. Yes, I need a better unboxing situation for big devices like this because it's really hard to do that. But here it is. That's the base again. And you basically just put it in there and you screw it in just like that. And then you get your favorite paper towel roll and you stick it on there. That's just kidding. That's not what it's for. It has a power plug on the back. And that's about it. So let me go ahead and just power it up real quick. See what it looks like. There's a little LED on the top. And there it is, all powered up. You can't even see it. There's a nice little blue pulsating light on there right now, which I assume you could probably control with some automations or other things. This will be sitting back in the closet, so I won't see it much. It says it's precisely engineered. The antenna are precisely tuned to Z-Wave's ideal wavelength. That's why it's as tall as it is from top to bottom here, and including the base plate. All of that is put together to make the physics of the thing work. So it's like a full wavelength of the signal for the antenna. So you think about a wavelength of radio signals. This is the length of the frequency, not the 900 megahertz or 800 megahertz frequency it's running on. It's designed for that. So that's why they call it precisely engineered for the wavelength of Z-Wave. So it gives you better range. You can tell the difference here between the Z-Wave or the ZWA-2 and then some of the other adapters. Something like the Gen5 that I have has got this little tiny antenna here. Well, this is the entire antenna for the ZWA-2, and that's why it makes a difference for range. It's got the latest Z-Wave chipset. It's got the 800 series chipset, so it supports all the Z-Wave devices. It's long-range capable. If you have long-range devices, built for Home Assistant, by Home Assistant, plug and play. You just have to plug it in and do your thing. Now, of course, I'm doing a migration, so it's a little bit different. And then it's about $69 US for now. All right, before we can actually use that new device with our network, we have to back up the current network that I'm running on my Gen5 Aeotec stick. That stick is running version 1.1 of the firmware, which is not compatible with a backup. So I need to first upgrade it to version 1.2 of the firmware. We're going to do our best to do that without bricking the thing and destroying my current network. So let's get into that piece and see how we can get through the firmware update before we can actually migrate onto the new ZWA-2 controller. So the site I'm working from here is this Aeotec help desk site, and it has an update guide for the Z-Stick Gen5 Plus V102 firmware update. This was last modified in 2023. You really need to have a 2018 or greater version of the Gen5 stick, or they say it's not going to work at all. I bought mine in 2018, so I'm hoping it does work. We're going to kind of go through this on this video together and see how it goes. But anyway, this is the site I'm working from. And right now I'm running on a version 1.1 of the ZW-090. Use a firmware update at your own risk. Warranty is void. Well, mine's been void for a long time. It could be bricked by the firmware update. If it bricks it, or whatever. All right, so anyway, I just want to point out the fact that this is version 1.02. I'm on 1.1, it would make me think that this 1.1 is newer than the 1.02, but apparently 1.02 is the same as 1.2. So we'll go through the process and we'll see how it works. Obviously, you need to download the drivers, install those on your computer, and then download the correct frequency for your Gen 5. I'm in the US, so I download those both. So let's go over there and let's install the driver real quick. So once you've downloaded the driver, all you need to do is right-click on it and then click in Install. It'll ask you to approve that for your device. And then what you can't see on the screen here, oh, here you go. It says, would you like to install the device software? It's Sigma Designs. Click on Install. You can trust or not trust that. And then it'll tell you the operation completed successfully. And that means the driver's installed. Likely you'll need to reboot Windows according to the documentation for the driver update. All right, let's go ahead and plug this into our USB port here. I've taken it out of my Home Assistant instance and put it here so I can do the update on it. All right, now we've got it plugged in. Let's go ahead and follow the process here. Obviously, I've plugged it in. I'm going to run the exe file, which I downloaded and uncompressed into the directory here. Okay, and let's hope we don't break it in the process of doing this. Let's go ahead and run the update. Actually, I need to find the serial port. It says COM4 now, so let's see if it picks it up on COM4. All right, there it is. Apply that. And now we're going to try to do the update. And I'm just following along here. Click on Settings, select the COM port, press Update. Here we go. My whole Zwave world is on this stick, so let's see what happens. And now it's running. You can kind of see that. It's reading the MBR. All right, so I see update operation completed successfully. Great. So now it says wait 10 seconds, and then I can unplug my Gen 5 stick and then plug it back into the PC. I don't know what that does exactly, but let me unplug it here. All right, so it's unplugged. Got it in my hand here. Let me plug it back in and see if anything happens here. I don't think anything's going to happen to it. I think it just tells you that for some weird reason. All right, so I'm assuming that I have completed the update. All right, so I have plugged it back into my Home Assistant instance. Let's just see if it is recognized here. Failed to initialize a driver. The serial API did not respond after soft reset. Okay, so it doesn't mean anything necessarily because I just unplugged it and plugged it into a running device. So let me go over here to the add-ons and just try to restart the Zwave JS UI add-on. See if that solves all my problems. If that doesn't work, we're going to restart Home Assistant itself because I did plug it in again to a running device. So that may or may not work. We'll find out in just a minute. In just a moment. Right now we are still waiting for it to reboot itself. Scan completed. Okay. What do we got? Oh, look at that. I think we got some devices. Let's take a look at the map. So this is working apparently. Like it's supposed to. It looks like it is anyway. I'm waiting for my dashboard to show all the stuff back again because it doesn't show everything. But all of the stuff is status shows online for most of these items. So it looks like we're back up and running again. And it looks like my dashboard has actually picked up all of the items here as well. So let me go back to the dashboard, the easy way. There we go. And all my entities and stuff that were missing, this is the only one that didn't come back. But sometimes when I do a Z-Wave reset or just reboot, I have to go push a button on some of these that don't come back right away. Okay, so this is a means to an end. Obviously, I'm not going to be continuing to use the Gen 5 stick. I'm going to be using the new ZWA-2 that I got from Home Assistant. I just have to get to the point where I can download the firmware or update the firmware or back up the configuration. I don't know what I'm talking about. So let's go back over here, back into Zwave.js. And I want to now go over here and see if I can do, well, let's see what firmware version we're on first. That's important, right? So let's go into settings, devices, and services. Let's look for our controller. So that's the Aeotec. Nope. That's going to be the hub. It's called the hub here. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. So now we're on firmware version 1.2 and it's working the way it was before, at least best I can tell. So that means that all of that is fine. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to Zwave.js. I'm going to back it up because I want to back it up so I can move it over or migrate it over to the new controller, which is the ZWA-2 settings is what I'm looking for. And then I want to go to doing this a long way around. I think I have a shortcut on the sidebar for it, but I didn't use it. All right, so we're going to do the MVM backup now, which is what I've been trying to get to the whole time. Click over here on this hamburger menu. Click on the advanced options here, and there's an NVM management section here. And I want to back up the controller's NVM. So I'm going to click on that now. The Zwave radio gets turned off, obviously, while it's doing the backup. So let's go ahead and do the backup. And it's now trying to do the backup. You can see up here the progress of where it is. So backup is going rather rapidly. Get rid of this, I guess. And then it provides the backup file on my desktop here. So now I have an NVM bin file, which should be the backup of my my Z-Wave network. Okay, we're going to try to do the migration here. So following along with Home Assistant's documentation about this, first thing, since I'm running Zwave.js UI, I have a special, well, not special, I have a different path to follow here. So I'm going to click on I'm in devices and services under settings. I'm going to click on Z-Wave here and I'm going to disable Zwave.js. So click on that, disable it over here. It will disable it. And then the next step is to open Zwave.js UI, which is over here. Let me refresh the screen just in case. Select overflow, the advanced button. And then we want to do a restore. But I don't know that it found the device yet. So let me just go to all hardware. I just want to see that it knows about this device because it didn't say it found it. And there goes my camera again. Really disappointed in my camera. All right, so we have a bunch of block disk stuff, but I don't have ACM0 or anything showing the controller, the new ZWA-2. It didn't discover it.
A few moments later.
See it until I push the button. There you go. All right, believe it or not, where my USB or my Home Assistant Blue is sitting in the cab or in the rack, I used one hand to try to push the USB cable in, and there was about 1/8 inch of space left before it was plugged all the way in, and that was enough that it didn't get picked up. It powered the ZWA-2, but it didn't have any data. So now we see that we have this here, and I like to do device by serial or serial by ID instead of dev TTY ACM0. So let's go over here now. Let's change this to the new device, which it doesn't see. Let me just try to put it in here. I may have to restart this interface as well. Okay, let me restart this whole this Zwave.js UI so that it will pick up the new port, I hope. Zwave.js UI, restart. I'll give that a second to restart and then we'll see if it picks up the new port. All right, we've rebooted or restarted the add-on. Let's hope there's something in there that shows us the new interface. That says no, unfortunately. Let's try to see if it sees it. Nope. That's the original one. All right, here's the new one, ZWA-2. All right. Excellent. So let's save this. My configuration contains errors. Oh, I have to choose a region. It does tell me that on there. So let me make sure I choose the region. So there's USA. Save it. And now my configuration is updated successfully. And now it has a scan completed. Let's go over here to the map. It should see nothing except the hub. So here's the hub. That's good. Zwave and Zwave long range are the two protocols that are available for it. So now what we need to do is we need to go over here to the overflow and the advanced options. And we are going to restore the NVM here. And we're going to cross our fingers that this brings everything back together again. So let's restore. Let me find the file. That's not where we're going to find it. So let me go find that file real quick. My downloads. It's the bin file I talked about earlier. So we're going to open the bin file. So this is the bin file that was downloaded from or backed up from the 500 series. Skip the check. Okay, so we're going to do the check and click OK. Cross our fingers. See what happens. All right, so it says it's doing a restore right now. And it's going fast. And I'm hoping that at the end of this, we're going to be in business. Oh, that was one try. I don't know if it's supposed to do this more than once. It says it's done. Oh, baby. Look at that. Look at that. We are online with a bunch of devices now. Let me look at the map and see if it shows anything different than what it had before. Maybe. I'm guessing, there we go, taxing it a little bit. I don't know what that is. That's the modem. Why is that on there? So here's the thing about long range. Even though I talk about this removing the ability or the need for the mesh network, if you haven't paired things directly to the controller before, likely it's not going to show up properly. Or if it's not long range, and if it's long range capable and you haven't set it up to use long range, you have to re-add it to this setup. Most importantly, I'm concerned about door locks and things like that that have different security settings on them. That one is not even plugged in. The back door lock is not working. It says dead. Front porch lights were dead earlier. Do I have the other door lock? What is this? That is not turned on right now. This is not available. That's not available. This one should be working. And what is this? Front hallway lights. I'm not sure if some of these things were not already not working to begin with. But let me try one more thing here. Let me go to the overflow or go to the overflow. And we're going to try to rebuild the routes. See what that does. That's somewhere. Rebuild routes. I'm going to rebuild the routes here. And it takes a lot of blah, blah. Delete priority return routes. So let me include the sleeping ones. Let's not do sleeping ones right now because that may delay it because it won't be able to get to those right away. So now it's doing the rebuild routes. Healed 15 nodes. Okay. All right. So now that all the nodes have healed, I'm going to go ahead and add a long range device just to show that that works. This is an 800 LR. This is the water leak sensor from Zeus, the ZSE42, and it is long range capable. I'm going to have to add that using the QR code. And I'm going to do that showing you that on the computer here so that you can see it as I do it. Let me go ahead and go through the steps here. I'm just getting set up. So what you want to do is go to settings and then devices and services here. And then again, devices. This is assuming you're on your phone because I'm going to use the phone camera. Add a device. I want to add a Zwave device. And I'm going to scan the QR code that's on the back of this device here. And I'm going to give it a name here, water leak sensor 1. And I want to choose long range. That's how it's going to do the LR, the long range stuff. I'm going to add the device. And it's going to sit here and it's going to spin on this for a little bit while it's getting everything set up. And whenever it's all set up, you're going to see it actually show up here on this screen as a new device, and it will show a protocol over here of that device being a long-range device. Sometimes it takes a few minutes. I typically have to go in here and I have to hit the button to wake it up, like you would with any Z-Wave inclusion. And you'll see the little lights flashing on there. That's telling me that it's woken up, and it should be talking back to the hub and doing its thing. So we'll give it a second. Usually this takes a little bit of time. At least for these, it seems like it's taken anywhere from 20 seconds to a minute to add a device using this, this protocol. I think it's negotiating all the security and everything to get it all set up. Sometimes I've had to do it a couple of times. I've done this about 4 times now while I'm filming the video to add and remove this. And it just depends on how long it takes. It does say over here, actually, that secure inclusion, well, started up here on the top, and now it's added the node. So let's say 20 seconds, 30 seconds maybe. So here's my my Zeus water leak sensors, the SC42, and it is the Z-Wave long range protocol. And now that has been all added. So this is now talking directly from this device right here, all the way back into the other room on the hub without any mesh stuff involved. Let's just take a look at the map and see how that looks. If I can find it on here, it should be a single hop. Which one of these is it? This node ID 259. And there it is. It's going directly from out here back to the controller. So it's a single hop back to the controller, all the way from this room across the house from where I have the antenna. So one other thing I want to talk about that I didn't mention is one of the things we did early on was disable the Z-Wave JS integration. Down here at the bottom, we turned it off and disabled it. I don't know if I'm doing this the right way these days. I've had this up for a long time, but everything that's talking through my Z-Wave network comes through this integration. So 38 devices now, 1,455 entities. When I added the Z-Wave stuff, it all showed up back on my Z-Wave JS UI, but it didn't show up in my Home Assistant instance. So I had a lot of devices offline. I came back in and actually re-enabled this by going into the integrations page up here, showing the disabled devices, and then re-enabling it. And after I did that, everything came back online. So I have a fully functioning Z-Wave network on the new ZWA-2, and the video makes it seem like it took a lot longer to do because I stopped and filmed and moved and had to walk to other rooms and film and move and everything else. So it really doesn't take that long. Even if you're going from a 500 series stick that has the old 1.1 firmware on it, going all the way from that to the end, if everything goes smoothly, you could probably have this up and running in 20 to 30 minutes on the new Z-Wave, ZWA-2 Z-Wave antenna. All right, that's going to do it. This has been a rather long video. Feels like it is because I've done it in multiple steps over a course of an entire day just to be able to film it for you. If you have any questions, comments, put them down below. I'll have the links to some of this stuff down below as well. And then also, I'm on Discord, so make sure you hit me up over on Discord. If you're not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button. It feeds the algorithm, as we all know. And then the like button also feeds the algorithm and gets these videos out for others to see. So with that, thank you so much for watching to the end, and we will see you on the next video.